મહાત્માઓ. સો આપણે આપણો નેક્સ્ટ પ્રોગ્રામ અત્યારે કરીએ છીએ, એમાં અનુભવ શેરિંગ છે. સો વિલ કોલ Florian, Flower. We start with you.
To be the first one.
Yes, first one.
Yeah, my name is Florian, but the real name is Flower, thanks to Hiteshbhai. And I have a second name, it's Takashi. My father's German, my mother's Japanese. And now I have the third name, thanks to you. Yeah, it's my first GURUPURNIMA, and yeah, the reason I'm here is because of my friend Chris. He asked me the last years also if I want to join, and now I'm here. I rejected 2 or 3 times, and in the last year, 2025, after a long search, I did so many times. I've a very deep longing for coming home, being one with God. Since early days, I think, did so many different things, and I also do it now. And Chris was all the time on my side, and just gently I could ask him everything, but there was many resistance. Yeah, about I'm Catholic. Yeah, it's not easy for me to bow and such things. Yes. But in October, I decided to start with 3 mantra morning and evening. Just start without thinking. I thought I tried 3 months to do it, morning and evening, and I was lucky. My wife also joined in. We do it together, and it seems really like a miracle. Then after just 3 weeks, I met Hiteshbhai in India. So it's there was a chance to you were in India for a longer time, and there was a cheap flight, and I get holidays, and my wife joined in, and then I meet another new friend. It's Bhagwan. He said, "When will you come? What time? I give you all my time," and with Shilpa, and yes, it was a highlight of my life to be this week with Bhagwan and his father and his family, and Shilpa Ben and Lakshmi Ben also. I have no words really, and Hiteshbhai was ill. Yeah, he had a cold, and but he take very long time for us, answering also our questions. And after meet you all, and I feel such an ease and joy and peace. And when I see Bhagwan laughing or just acting, just being, I didn't know that one could live like naturally like this. Yeah. And so I feel very enriched, very blessed, very blessed. Such a that I can be here. I feel it, yeah. And since I am here, it's also ease and joy and so much love. So yeah, thank you very, very much. I feel really love to be here, and so welcome, so invited and treated, so generous you are. And yeah, sometimes I feel bad that I can give back, or I don't know, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, this night I prayed that I like to put my heart open for Dadaji, and please come to me, give me a sign, yeah, and thank you all.
Florian.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Florian, I actually have a question for you. I have a quick question for you. I asked him yesterday, but I wanted him to just kind of share with everybody. Is language a barrier for you in this occasion that your celebrations that you have connected for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please answer that.
In the last years, a reason for my rejection was, hey, why should I come here and with 300 people and all Gujarati and yeah, I didn't see a sense. But now I have a feeling that maybe it's better to not understand the words and just feel the present, feel it, and so yeah, there's no barrier of the language, no. Okay.
Thank you, Flower. Where is Dr. Nimesh? He's next.
Satchidanand. Is that good? Please forgive me, I didn't prepare for this. I only found out a few minutes ago, so if I ramble, please forgive me. I think that last comment that Florian made is a great transition to my story because it's almost the opposite. Nimesh's Prakriti is very much in the head, and a lot of times the head gets in the way of the heart. And so my story started, it's a long story, but I'll start in around 2008. I think many people know, some people know my wife is Bino, and our parents are Anilaben and Vasantbhai. To me, the absolute epitome of devotion. And so through a lot of effort, they had brought me to Kanu Dadaji. And at that time, I had been studying Vedanta, so I'd been interested in different Indian philosophies. And so I'd met Kanu Dadaji, and I would ask questions, but I did not ask questions as questions. I asked them in a way that I was expecting a certain answer, almost like a test maybe. Not in a intentional way, but in that sense. So I didn't get the answers that I was looking for. And this happened several times. And so I had created a lot of these barriers in those interactions. And we then got married in 2009 in India, and we were very fortunate. Kanu Dadaji was there at our wedding, and there was a photo of us where Kanu Dadaji grabbed me, and he looked right in my eyes. And I, at that time, didn't appreciate it whatsoever. I'm being honest. I had no appreciation for these interactions, but I know now that so many people would be just incredibly fortunate. But I do think that when, in that interaction, I think he looked right in my eyes, and I think that's when he started to work on all of these layers blockages that I have accumulated over how many countless lifetimes. And so after that, again, we were fortunate, again, through our mommy and daddy. Ganu Dadaji actually came to our house in Houston. Brand new house. We didn't really even have much furniture in there. And Ganu Dadaji and Manharba were there, and we had satsang. And again, I asked questions, and again, same thing, and I felt like he just wasn't answering my questions. And this is not for me. So I think we kind of continued in this for a while. But in 2015, at Gita Masi's house and Prakash Uncle, they had Nanvidi. And Mummy asked me, do you want to go? I think something, I don't know exactly how they worded it, and I said I don't want to go. Because I didn't appreciate it, and I didn't know what was happening over there. And somehow then my mommy and daddy decided to go. So I think because of that, I didn't again decide, but at least some level of blockage got reduced. And literally as they were about to leave the house, then I said, okay, maybe I'll go. So we went, and I don't know what I did there. We talked about Samarpan yesterday. I have no idea. To this day, I don't know what happened that day. Did I give up anything there? I cannot even tell you I did it knowingly. And in fact, what I do remember is after the Nanvidi, when everybody was, socializing, I remember Mahatma told me, your life is going to change today, and all your interactions. But honestly, I had no appreciation and no understanding. I said, what happened here? I don't even know. And how can my life change? But a week later after that, I had finished training. This is all in Houston, Texas. And Binal and I moved to Rhode Island. I took up a job there. So that was just a week later. And over the course of the next few years, I started to get more interested in watching different spiritual videos. I had always been interested in philosophy in general. I had some training, and also Indian philosophy, so I had read Upanishads, things like that. But we started to watch YouTube videos on various different philosophies. So that somehow that spiritual awakening was reinvigorated, I would say. And then in 2018 was a GURUPURNIMA in South Carolina. So I'd always wondered what happens at GURUPURNIMA. Is this like a social event? I don't know what goes on over there. But because it was in South Carolina where Mommy and Daddy live, I said, we'll go meet them, and maybe I'll see what is happening in this GURUPURNIMA. And just about a month before that, I got in a pretty serious car accident. It was Nimesh's fault. I took a turn where I shouldn't have turned, and a big truck hit me pretty badly, pretty bad damage to the car. But what I noticed is in that event, Nimesh didn't really feel anything. I had been in other car accidents, and typically you feel some back pain or maybe some stress of the situation. But I was completely fine. I could work, and in fact that afternoon I had a really important meeting that I took. So because of that, I thought, what is this? Something is different. And I think because of that sort of opened up my heart a little bit. And then in GURUPURNIMA, I had the most amazing experience. Had wonderful time talking with Dernbach. He explained many concepts. With a group of us, we were discussing. And then at that GURUPURNIMA, Ganu Dadaji did not give any satsangs. There was not planned for any. But what happened is Daddy said, come, we're going to one of Mahatma's rooms. I think maybe Vasant Dada's room. And he said, Ganu Dadaji is available to answer your questions. And what happened is actually, far before I had sent a list of questions to Daddy to have Ganu Dadaji answer them. And somehow the circumstances never came together. Our plan was to talk by phone, and it just never connected. So that day, I had 6 questions that were pretty complex, like philosophical topics on 6 elements and different things. And that day, I remember Binal and I sat there at the feet of Kanu Dadaji, and there were Mahatmas in the room. And it was just the most amazing, magical experience. The only way I can describe it is what Arjun must have experienced talking to Bhagwan, and that's what I felt in that moment. And at that point is when I think I sort of let my head out of the way and let my heart really surrender in that moment. And part of it was that was a pretty there's a lot going on in the Sangha at that time, and me being new, I had no idea what was going on in there. But there was no satsang, and that was the only one. And for Kanu Dadaji to answer the questions of this, boy who has no real, I wouldn't say interest, but doesn't have that devotion. And so many Mahatmas are here with such heart for Kanu Dadaji, wanting their questions to, I'm sure many of you want your questions to be answered. So I felt like for him to take that time and to really go in depth. I mean, we talked a very long, hour plus in these complex topics. And that to me, I had never seen that level of humility. And that's the photo of, yeah. And again, at that time, I just didn't have any appreciation for that. But I know that circumstances work in the way that they do. But I prayed and I bowed to Kanu Dadaji and Ambala Dadaji and Simandar Swamiji, and I've only seen that level of humility one other time. And for somebody to sit amongst the people, we have a name for that. There's the people's champ in America, and it's when we know in our heart we've seen that level of humility. So thank you.
When is Avni in the house? Where is Avni? Nathi? Sejal taro varo to pachi. Sejal, it's you then.
Jai Satchidanand. Well, this is a surprise to me. Sorry, I'm going to speak in English because my Gujarati is very broken, but to share Anubhav of Dada, I can recollect countless times. But one I hold very dear to Sejal is when I got married, I felt like physically I was really far from Dada because he was in India. And all I could think of was, how could I get closer to him, like proximity? So I used to do my vidhis every morning, and within the first few lines of the vidhis, you'll be familiar that one of them says that may I be physically, like in proximal to my pure soul. And whenever I said that line, I only visualized that I would have Dadaji, Kanu Dadaji, by my side. And so that line would be stuck in my head through the days. And by some beautiful coincidence, he serendipitously moved to California within like a few miles of driving distance from my home. And suddenly when I reread those vidhis, it came to me that my prayer for that was answered without even asking for it. I know that may seem just like a coincidence, but to me, even not material desire, but every part of like your spiritual progress desire has been answered from him without even knowing. Some other times I have found Sejal in a difficult situation, once in college, or once just, in a public situation. And I had heard a voice, and I don't know how to explain it, but I was once driving, and I heard a very deep, clear voice, and it was Dadaji's voice. And I was driving alone in my car, and then suddenly I didn't quite understand what that voice even said. It was in Gujarati. And then I immediately took the exit, turned around, and went back home. I didn't know what the situation was, but I later learned that that area, there was a very bad accident and some other things that happened in that area. So out of not just having him present in my life, I've always been able to feel like I was protected. Jai Satchidanand.
Okay, Jai Satchidanand. So we're going to open it. Chris, Jonathan, if you want to please come. Anybody else? We have a few minutes more till we break. So come join, share your experience.
Jai Satchidanand, everyone. It's good to see you all again. I said I better get up here before I get a slap from Bhagwan. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's better. You can hear me now? Yeah, it's great to be back, and it's also great to not just be the new one. Thanks, Florian, for coming this year. No, but really, it is great. Earlier in the year, we also had a chat, and just it's even interesting. Even though, say, Florian hadn't been to GURUPURNIMA, I was chatting to him on the phone, and I just automatically, that feeling that I have today and that I had last year, it's just this uplifting, blissful inner feeling. I felt that with him on the phone, and I was like, you haven't been, and he was talking about it, but I was like, it's just come like you. So I already felt that what you're looking for was inside you, and I felt that connection with you. And Chris and Bhagwan, they always say to, make sure that you keep the link in your life. And I think it's really important, and that's why when Chris said that he was going to be able to come back here again this year, I was like, let's book it now. But yeah, I think my journey was also similar. I was just searching. Well, I went traveling. I left Ireland a few years ago, and I think I found myself in it was a mindfulness, yoga, meditation place, and I was just like, wow, I really resonate with this material. And also, did a few Vipassana meditation retreats and things like that. And then I landed in Vietnam, and I remember these people saying, oh, this guy Chris, he's an amazing guy, and he's coming. And I was like, okay, yeah, who is this guy? I want to meet him, And everyone a lot of the people had been talking about Chris, but the first thing I noticed when he came in, I was just like, okay, he's just really humble, just such a humble guy. And I was expecting, I don't know, they're all talking about this guy, he's going to be some amazing whatever, but it was just that humility that I think I resonated with. And I had a lot of questions at the time, and it was just this kind of there's something missing in my life, and I feel like I want some sort of an anchor to help me. And Chris was like, here, just read this book, it might be helpful. And that was the Dialogues with the Daji book. And it was like I had done 2 years of traveling in different modalities of meditation and ask questions and stuff. But I remember just opening the book and it was like all the questions, like who am I? What's my purpose in life? Why am I here? How was this world created? You know? And I was like, wow, this is all in this book, all the questions, and it's so simple, like in the simple language to understand. And basically what happened then was I read the book, and then it's actually really funny, but I was reading, I was like, oh, Chris, Chris must be the Gnani Purush. I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, I remember I asked him, I was like, we were sitting down having a meeting or just a coffee or something, and I was like, so are you the Gnani? It's like, no. He's like, I'm not the Gnani, but he was like, just, read the book, but we have these prayers, and he gave me the tree mantra. And then, it's just incredible. He started doing like, basically, satsangs. We call it satsang, right? So myself, Jonathan, there's another guy, Dimitri, who's from Russia, and I hope he'll be able to attend here sometime. But we might have to work some magic to get him here. But I know he's going to come at some stage, so maybe next year. But so we would just do the tree mantra and Kirtan Bhakti, and it just started like that, and I don't know, it's just this, it's like this cleansing basically kind of thing that happened. And at the start the mind is in the way a bit. What is this? What am I saying? I don't understand the language, but then there's like something just beyond the language that's like goes into the heart, and it's just like it's like beyond words. It's just like this emotional feeling, and I'm like, that's it. This is what I've been looking for. And even just today, where I was just doing the kirtan, and just had my eyes closed and just feeling that feeling and opening. I'm like how am I even here? Like, with all these people, like how did this even happen? And then I just think it's that the Vevashtit Shakti, and just having the pure intention in the heart. So I went last year, and it was incredible. And I was living in Asia at the time, in Vietnam, so it was quite easy. I feel like I was doing a lot of yoga, teaching, and very, we'll say, spiritual. And then I had to go back to Ireland. I chose to go back to Ireland because I knew that was the right thing to do. And I went back, and it was definitely challenging. It was a challenging year. But even like, say, again, we talk about the Gnan and things like this, and it's obviously amazing, but I haven't received it, but I don't think, like in that way, but I feel like something has changed. So, and one of the examples, like just even having a really tough year, and there was like things going on at work, and then just remember these words coming, like, this is all just phasing out, like Dada's words, this is just phasing out. This is just phasing out. And then just being able to be calm in work, and just like, it's going to pass out. And it did, So it's just like, just this knowledge just helping me to remain calm in situations that usually, if I hadn't this knowledge, I would struggle or not have any reason for. And then I think just the last, I suppose, thing for me, it was a challenging year. And then I like to go to India, for those of you who don't know. So I was on this routine trip back this year. It was like 3 months ago. And I was in a taxi, and we're going home in the nighttime. And I fell asleep in the taxi. And then next minute I woke up, and there was 2 people pulling me out of a car, and I had just realized they said, you have been in an accident, you're in a car crash. And I just remember being like, oh my goodness, and just feeling all this blood and gushing to my face. And I was by myself, and they put me into the ambulance, and just automatically, just like that, the first thing that just came on was this tree mantra, just shouting the tree mantra, like straight away, out loud at the top of my voice, Namo Riyantanam, Namo Siddhanam. And it's just like, And it wasn't at the time, it was only after that. It's like, wow, like if there's any belief that this, you know, that Dada's science works, you know, or that it's here, it's alive in me, that was it, you know. And just the interesting thing was that after, I just remember kept saying the tree mantra, and then being in the hospital, arriving in the hospital and being under the machines, and they were speaking in broken Hindi to me, and then I could just, he was asking me to do something, and I was in a lot of pain, like could barely move, but I was like, oh my goodness, I understand. I can understand what he's saying. My brain is working. But then it was just this huge thing just came over. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. And I think it's no surprise that it was true. Dada came through the three mantras and just told me everything's going to be fine. And after that, everything was fine. Like, it was just amazing, all the circumstances that came together. I had people that came to take care of me, and of course, when my friend took out my phone, he rang Lullaby and just told him the story, and again, just Bhagwan and his family and everyone just trying to offer to help, and I was just overwhelmed. And then also, just having all of your prayers, because I had to go for a surgery, and it just, everything worked out perfectly, you know. And again, it's weird, we're talking about accidents tonight, but I really feel, or today, I feel like, again, when the doctors looked at the accident and I went back to the doctor, he was just like, they were so surprised after 10 days how quick the recovery was, you know, and like it could have been paralyzed, could have lost an eye, so much could have happened. And again, I think it's just the blessings from the Daji, and just, evidence that for myself, my own devotion, and that this stuff really works, you know. And I just can't thank every one of you enough. I just think it's an incredible family, spiritual family. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it, to be honest. And just hopefully I can come here every year. Jai Satsadhan. Thank you.
My name's Harsha. I'm from Manchester in England. Mine's a bit of a funny story, really, because I wasn't really interested in religion or anything like that, but I received a phone call from Pushabi to say, just come, because there's, she gave me names, but of course it didn't really register because it didn't. So so it was a Saturday morning. I was out with, we were going to go out, 2 children, my husband. So I said to them, you know, Dev, let me go there, half an hour. If I don't go there, I'm not going to hear the end of it. So I'm going to go there just to shut her up. I'll take this video, whatever it is, and then I'll come back home. And literally, it was like that. So I went, I did the vidhi. I was given the little book, which was in Gujarati, and I don't read and write Gujarati, so I didn't know what it was. I came home, literally, vidhi laina hu siddhi ghare aavi gayi, and I put the book in the cupboard. And I said, right, let's go. So we just carried on with life as normal. And then that was it for me, to be honest. And so I used to go and visit. And we're very lucky in Manchester because we're a small community. So we have a lot of one-to-one with the Aptaputras, and also with Dadaji. We had one-to-one. I feel so blessed with it. But I don't think I appreciated the gift that I had at the time from with having this one-to-one session. And then, so I used to go every now and then, but really it wasn't a regular thing that I did. It was just basically when the Aptaputras came. But we had Dadaji coming to Manchester 5 times, but I've only met him 4 times. And because we were a small community, it was literally, honestly, it was literally like this. And I was really blessed because I actually had a 20-minute session with him on my own, where he explained to me the first 2 Gnan vidhis, relative and real. And he was explaining that to me. So, I'm not going to lie, it was a bit of a, okay. And then I went outside the next day, and I'm looking for Shuddhatma and everything. the flowers, the trees, and I'm thinking to myself, why can't I see Satsadhan anywhere, in my children? And then I'd go home and I'd say to my children, Harsha loves you. And my children would say, Mum's gone mad, what is she saying here, Harsha? Honestly, it was like that, Harsha loves you, Harsha this, Harsha that. And then what happened was we had Mataji Terayata Gore, Chalotana. So there were a lot of people that were going to come to our house. And at the front of the house, there's a vent, an air vent. And we'd noticed that there was a lot of activity going on with bumblebees. So the bumblebees were just literally going in and out, in and out. And on the day of Mataji, there was so much activity, and we were thinking, oh my gosh, how is it going to happen? Because people are not going to come to our house. We'd have to get them round through the kitchen, which I didn't want to do. So anyway, so I went outside, and I took a towel. I sat down in front of the house, in front of the vent. So Devendra came up to me and said, Sukarastu. I said, just wait. My sasu came and says, Chukri, what is this girl doing? We've got so much work to do. And she sat in front of the house here. So I'm sat in front of the house, and I sat down, and I said, I did my Dada Bhagwan Nasim Jejekar Ho. And I said to the bumblebees, I says, the Shuddhatma in me is asking the Shuddhatma in you that whilst this ceremony is going on, please stay in your house. Don't disturb us, and let this function of mine go really well. And I was out there for about 15 minutes. Do you know something? There was not one bumblebee in sight. Not one. And it was for about 6 hours, and I couldn't believe it. And I said to my husband, and I said to my mother-in-law, see? JSS Inc.
Hello everyone, my name is Hitesh. And I received Gnan from Kanu Dada. And my wife is Mitali and my daughter is Mira. And Mitali and I both received Gnan from Kanu Dada. I am eternally grateful for receiving Gnan from Kanu Dada because it changed my life. I didn't know it did, but it did. And I'm eternally grateful to Mitali for seeking out Kanu Dada because I was not interested or on the spiritual path before, but she always was interested. So she actually met Kanu Dada first and discovered him. And so I just kind of followed along, honestly. But I must have been searching for this for infinite lifetimes because, I mean, my life has truly never been better. Once again, I've spoken to Nimesh with this over the years at GURUPURNIMA, but I didn't know why my life changed after I met Kanu Dada, and I didn't realize, I didn't give him the proper credit that he deserved. Honestly, I only realized how valuable Kanu Dada was after meeting Hiteshbhai, who, in my opinion, is the greatest son in the world. I never met a son like him. He is so dedicated to his father, and if anybody has protected Kanu Dada's name, it is Hiteshbhai. And I realized Kanu Dada's importance after meeting Hiteshbhai. And so I always tell everybody that if my kalyan happens, it's because of Kanu Dada, but Hiteshbhai protected it. And I mean, so Kanu Dada and Hiteshbhai will always be in my hearts. So that's my story of Gnan. It is Mitali brought me to Kanu Dada, and Hiteshbhai protected this Gnan of mine, and I'll never forget that. Just everybody here is a Mahatma. Everybody here already knows how valuable what we have received is, but like the topic of this time's GURUPURNIMA, samarpan and bhakti, that's the true path of religion. It is bhakti and vinay. And that I see in Bhaveshbhai. Every time I meet him, I don't miss Kanu Dada because Manharbhai and Bhaveshbhai live in Manharbhai and Kanu Dada live in Bhaveshbhai. So, you know, we have so much to gain from coming to this Guru Purnima with Bhaveshbhai and Pranavbhai, of course, and everybody who's been important. But yeah, that's what I'm learning. Is this the true path of religion is bhakti and vinay, truly more than anything else. I mean, what more could you want? And you know, the other thing I've learned from Bhaveshbhai is also sacrifice. If anybody has given up something in this world, it is him, because he gave up his time with his mother and father so that they could spend that for us. And so that's a real sacrifice. I mean, truly, I mean, Manharbhai and Kanu Dada, they belong to Bhaveshbhai. They're his parents. But he never took ownership over them. What a miracle that they have a son like this. I've learned so much from just meeting him. That's Kanu Dada's gift to this world at Bhaveshbhai. But I'll tell you my story. Before I met Kanu Dada, I grew up in a very large family. My parents, my grandparents, Masi Masa, Kaki Kaka, Badata. I was born in India, in Bilimora. And my family immigrated to this country in 1976, the year I was born. And I came 4 years later. And we ended up settling in Athens, Georgia. My parents were both busy, so I was raised by my grandparents. And Mari ba Krishna Bhagwan ni bo moti bhaktati. So every day there were prayers in my house for Krishna Bhagwan. Krishna Bhagwan ni murti ati hamare ghar mein. And so that's how I grew up, is respecting Krishna Bhagwan. And I had read the Bhagavad Gita so many times before I had met Kanu Dada. And I mean, it is impossible to actually understand the Bhagavad Gita, I'll be honest with you. But I tried. And what I understood from it, the message that Krishna Bhagwan gave Arjun is non-doership, non-ownership. And so I always tried to go through my life before non, like that, with that non-doership, non-ownership attitude and not being attached. But Mitali always used to tell me, like, I told her that when we met and got married, and I told her that's how I want to live my life, is not getting attached to anything. And she always said you always had a distance from everybody. But what I understood, so I never really put my feet too deeply in anything, any relationships, anything. I'd do the work, but stay as far away from it as possible that I could. But after I got Nan from Kanu Dada, obviously he did the separation vidhi. So then I really understood the true separation is that I don't need to separate myself from this world. I just need to separate myself from myself. And so that's why life became so beautiful afterwards, because Hitesh was free to enjoy this world. Because Dada Bhagwan has said that this life is meant to be enjoyed. You don't have to like not live it, because if you don't attach yourself to things in this world, it becomes almost non-caring, like you don't care. So it's not supposed to be like that. And so that is the beauty of what Kanu Dada has done. He's allowed me to enjoy my life. Because like Hitesh has to enjoy his life. Of course, the inside part of Hitesh is the non-doer and non-owner. But whatever Hitesh does, he has to do. And he has to be involved in it too, because if you don't get involved in it, file number 1 doesn't get involved in your activities, you're missing it. I mean, you're supposed to care, you're supposed to do it with your heart, and you're supposed to be involved. But this is what I always wanted. That's why I always kept reading Bhagavad Gita, and I always respected Krishna Bhagwan. And I found Krishna Bhagwan now. And so that's really what I always wanted, was exactly that, to be detached. But I didn't realize what I needed to detach from. I don't need to detach from the world, just need to detach from file number 1. So it's just autopilot. So, but anyways, that's my story. Thank you. Everybody here is wonderful.
Jai Satchidanand Mahatma. So we are now ready for our tea break.